Hello everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie de Joie, and I'm here with a project for Thematic Thursday. I found some printable fabric on paper. Hopefully it's not glaring too much. I found this at the thrift store, and back in the day, when I first started printing on fabric, I would cut me a piece of cotton, use some lightly adhesive spray glue, glue it, print what I wanted, and do a craft or project with it. And then obviously someone caught on, so obviously it's manufactured now, but I have several sheets of this, and this is just very, very plain cotton, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that very fine weave or not, but this is from this pack, and it says it's 100% cotton poplin. So earlier today I printed off some labels that I got from the public domain. It's just the back of it, plain old paper. And the instructions say that after you print it, to let it dry for about 15 minutes, and then iron it, and then take the back off. But that don't work, because if you iron it, it seals the back to it. So this is the first one I did, and I did finally get the paper off, but it took a good while. So on the others, before I ironed them, I actually took the paper off first and then ironed them. But the good thing about it is you can cut it on your paper trimmer. I have not tried it on a guillotine, and I have not tried it with like a corner punch, but I wouldn't do it. I don't think I wouldn't try it unless it's just super sharp. But at any rate, today's project is some advertisements and labels from the public domain backed onto fabric. So it's just layered fabric that you can make pockets. This would make a good pocket. This would make a good pocket. And this would make a good pocket even. Or any other type of ephemera by itself, or added to something else if you wanted to build this up even more. So what we're going to do is a couple of, I want to do these two, and they'll probably end up being somewhat similar to this, I think. But I just wanted it kind of natural looking. This is a piece of vintage fabric that I have tea stained, and it makes me think of wallpaper, vintage wallpaper, so I used a piece of it behind. But anyway, I'm going to get my stuff together and we'll get started. Okay, so I got my materials together. I got a piece of tea stained ribbon that I may or may not use. My fusible webbing for hems and such fuses fabric together. 2 pieces of lace for backgrounds, piece of regular burlap, a piece of cream burlap, and then a piece of unbleached muslin. So we will kind of put that aside. So the first thing that I want to do is trim these edges. down to very, very near the print line. I think I'm going to do this one because I made them the same size, so if all goes well, they'll cut at about the same place. Yes. Now, well, that was close. Maybe just a touch too close. Alright. And then just a little bit past it. Ooh, maybe not enough past it. I'm going to trim that off just a little bit more. It's not a lot, but it's a little. And then this one. And just dot these little corners. Alright, that looks okay. So that's it for the trimming. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just put a little ink around the edges, and if you watched my last video, you'll have seen me doing this with this ink pad that come unglued at the bottom. So yeah, I've been wanting to do something with these labels for a while, and I wanted to do something different for today's project, so I put the two together and this is what I come up with. So alrighty, now what I'm doing with this fabric, printing on fabric, you can print the exact same thing on paper and do exactly what I'm doing with it. I'm just making this a fabric themed project all the way through. So I think I'm going to do a not done burlap on burlap before, so I don't know if I want to do that or not. But this is not very thick. I kind of want to put this between, so I'll probably end up making them basically just alike. Let's actually go this way. That's got a red thread in it. That's interesting. Yeah, it sure does. It's got a red thread just right there, woven in. Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm going to be pulling the strings off of this, because that's a really bad crooked cut. Okay, I'll cut the selvage off because there's not going to be any ends to ravel from this selvage. So let me just get some of this pulled out so that we can square it up a little bit, and then see which way we want to layer it. The one good thing about fabric like cotton or plant-based fabrics as opposed to synthetics is that if it has been woven straight and you cut it like this and pull the threads, it will be straight where the threads pull. So, and I usually do this a little more gently, actually. But, alright, let's straighten this up a little bit and see where we are. Okay, not bad. Now, when I was growing up, my mama made quilts by hand. And when she was cutting quilt scraps, she would do that right there to get her middle. So I dare say it's not far off. So, yeah, my parents, they have a farm. I grew up on a farm. When I was really little, we had cattle. And then, I think, to put it in economic terms, the bottom fell out of cattle. We had milk cows. And that was in the 70s. And in 1979 we moved. Mom and Daddy bought a bigger farm just down the road, like half a mile from the old home place. And they started growing Christmas trees. And that's what they do now. Even my dad's 82, will be 83 in the spring. My mama's 75. She'll be 76 in the spring, and they both still get out and work their regular jobs and all that. But they're self-employed, but they still have jobs, but this time of year they're doing Christmas stuff. Okay, so there's two of those. Now, this is the selvage also, but I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm not going to cut that thread out. I'm just going to use it the way that it is. Now this is a much looser weave. It's much easier to move, to unravel. Alright. Well, alright. Well, that's not much different. I may have to actually, you know what, I think I'll cut this down one more time and just use one of these. I'll use this one that's a little bigger. It's the one with the red on it, so yeah. Alright, let's do this one. Yeah, I know I may have mentioned it a time or two that I've been sewing for 4/5 of my life, give or take a little. I started sewing when I was 16, and by the time I was 17 I was sewing at a professional level, even though I technically never went professional. But I've made all of Rachel and Jamie's clothes when they were growing up, except for socks and underwear and what my mama found on sale at the store sometimes. And I made everything they wore up until they left middle school going into high school. And even then, I still made for Jamie. I made her a dress for the Christmas dance when she was 14, and I made my sister's wedding dress. Made my grandkids all kinds of clothes, and when my grandson was 10, he wanted a book bag that had red camo on it, and Rachel couldn't find him one anywhere that had it, so I designed him one and made it and sent it to him, and he carried that for 3 years, and when he was in grade school. So that was might actually do that this way and cut this one. Okay, let's do that. So I don't sew as much as I used to at all. The most sewing I've done is when I was visiting Rachel back in April and May. I showed her some basics and that's really all I've done in a long time. Let's see, let's use this one. I know I said I was going to use that one, and I want to take this down just a little bit more. I have a website that I've had for, I don't know, about 5 years, I suppose, give or take. And I've got all this, well, not everything that I've made, but I've got a lot of stuff that I've made, pictures of it on there. I've made crib quilts. Made one of my granddaughters, at the time she was the only granddaughter, a little crib quilt that's now a keepsake. And my goal, I don't know exactly when I'll do it because I'm doing paper crafting all the time, but I really want to make each one of my 6 grandkids a quilt. But that's what I want to do. But they might get it maybe when they turn a teenager. Although my grandson's about to turn 15, so I may have missed that one just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. And this might be the only one I do because it's time consuming, but we'll see. And you know what, I was about to forget about the lace. Oh my goodness, I can't forget about the lace. I think I'm going to cut this lace to be the same as this, because you can still see through it. It don't have to be exact. Okay, I think I am going to come back in and make it just a little bit smaller, but not by much. Just kind of square it up a little bit. Well, I've got to do better than that. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Let's turn it this way. That'll do. It'll do, it'll do. I don't know, I think yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so my process is I had another one of these out already, but I think it's under something right now. So what I'm using a very thin layer. I mean, just barely putting some on because this is so porous it's going to go right through, obviously. So I'm going to just stack these up like this. Now I've got to iron between each layer, otherwise it'll just be a goppy mess. So I'm going to step away and iron, and I'll be right back. Okay, I built up the layers with between the fabric glue and the little strips of the web interfacing. So it's still damp, but I'm going to finish building it up, but I just wanted to show you what I've done because otherwise you won't see any of it. So I'm just going to put that little one right there, and I'm going to step over here to the iron and adhere that, and we'll go on to the next one. Okay, so there's that one. Looks kind of cute. But I'm going to put it over here under my cast iron to keep it flat until it dries completely, and we'll go on to the next one. Okay, I really kind of would like to do this one a little differently. So that really is just too big. It is. So I'm going to do this one. So I definitely could put that down there. I think it'd be kind of pretty to put it on top of the lace. So maybe that's what I do, is just put the lace in a different place. But let me pull off a few of these and get it just a little bit more rectangular instead of so squarish. And take just a little bit off of that side. Okay, I think that's as far as I'm going to go there. Now, well, they keep coming loose on me. Now this one, let's see, that really is much bigger than I need it, so let's bring it down a few. I know this is kind of monotonous a little bit, but if I do everything ahead of time, then there's not a whole lot to show, is there? So, alright, let's cut that down and see what we've got. Alright. Not too bad, it can be a little bit more. Just a few threads. But almost any time that you use a natural fabric like muslin and fray the ends like this, or pull some threads out so the ends are frayed, you give yourself a nice, I think, dare I call it, a clean, wholesome look. I don't know if that would be exactly what it would be classified or not, but let's go. And whenever you are cutting, give yourself room to pull the threads. Otherwise, whatever your project is, it'll be too small. Well, I'm going to cut that off. And realign everything. I'm going to take just a little bit more off. Yep. Yeah, that'll work. Now, what I want to do though is I'm going to cut the piece of lace as big as this one and let it drape over the whole thing. Let's see. I guess I could do it here. I want it to be slightly smaller, but not a lot smaller. So I'll cut it and then cut it down a little bit. Okay. Well, the top's a little crooked, but it's okay, I think. Okay. Alright, I'm going to build the layers like I did in the other one, except that I need to do it this way. I want to put it that way. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Or that way. Will it turn out to be just like the other one? I hope not. Okay, I'm going to go build these layers up, and I'll come back and do the last layer like I did with the other one. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but maybe not. Okay, so that's the layer, and I spilled, when I was doing some tea staining on some paper, I splashed out some tea and it hit it, and I think I did the same with the coffee. Anyway, it got wet right there, and of course it stuck to itself. I think this is enough. Yeah, it's more than enough. So, put that little thing there. That little thing there. Let me pull this one over slightly. Oh, I haven't taken the paper off. Oh my goodness, this was such a pain in the rear end, and I know this is probably tempting fate, but this was, even though I have not ironed this, this is how I ended up having to do it. I just scratched a little hole through the paper until I actually got through it, and then I pulled the paper off. I don't know if it's because the paper is older. I haven't looked for a manufacturer's date or anything like that. Maybe it's gotten hot. I mean, I haven't ironed this, but it's still a pain. But once you get it off, it almost feels like the cloth has a little bit of some kind of backing on it, but I don't know for sure that it does. But it's very smooth, I know that. And if I don't get every single piece off, it won't be a big deal. But I would still like to, just because it's supposed to be off. Okay. Come on now. Alright, that's going to be as far as I go with that. Now, let's put that down like that. That looks sort of even. Okay, let's get this ironed was what I was going to say. Okay, there's that one. Let me get the other one. I did end up putting them in the same order, but that's okay. The lace is different. So these make great little pockets on their own. They would make really good cluster toppers, or to, even add more to, but this is as far as I'm going to go with it until I know what I'm going to put these in, or these might end up get in the giveaway. I don't know yet, but at any rate, this is the project for today. Let me get the other ones. Let me do this, because I've got a messy desk here. Let's do that. So there's the ones we just made, and there's that one, and that one, and that one. Oh. Let's make a little bit more room here. Okay, so there's 5 of them, and I've got, I think I did 9, yeah, so I'll be doing these at a later time, but these are, I printed these from some digital stamps that I made, and shrunk them way down to make these little pocket things. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon.